Hey everyone, it's me, Bernadette, and welcome to 8600 Miles Strong. Today, this is not usually the type of posts and the type of topics that I talk about immigrant life because, well, it's not a good day, specifically for the Asian community. I woke up to a very terrible news of the killings in Atlanta. 8 people were killed, 6 of them were Asian women. And while this is not the first of a string of hate crimes against Asians, I feel like today really made an impact on me. Like today, enough is enough. That's the feeling that I have right now. I I have been, you know, trying to process this the whole morning. I've been trying to make sense of what's happening, but there's really no explanation other than just hate and um miseducation. I don't know what else to call it, but it's just terrible and deplorable, and nobody deserves to be treated this way. I'm not speaking about it just because I'm Asian. I've been very vocal about the plight of many marginalized, disadvantaged communities, just like Asian communities or the Black communities. I've been vocal about issues and social problems like that. But today, it really hit home. Well, I'm from the Philippines. My husband's family, half of his family at least, uh, are third generation Filipino Americans. And I feel like this is the kind of stories and everyday plight that a lot of immigrants are experiencing in general, but most particularly Asians. I can speak for myself because I am one of them. Uh, Aside from the US, I've lived in Malaysia as well. I've lived there for 4 years, and did I experience some sort of racism or sexism? Yes, but it's only here in the U.S. that it really hit home, and it really opened my eyes to how big the problem is, not just for my community, my people, but for other people of color as well. Um, I don't know. It's just I can't even begin to describe the feeling. I don't have a word for it in English, but it's in Tagalog, it's nakakapanlumo. Like nakakawala ng pag-asa. It's a feeling of hopelessness. It's a feeling of ganito na lang ba? Is it really like this? For generations, Asian communities have been taught or told to keep our heads down or magtiis ka. That's how it is. So endure it because you're an immigrant or you're not in your own country or you're a second class citizen and things like that. Thankfully, my generation is not like that anymore. My generation, our generation, and the next generation, I hope, will be more vocal, will be more action oriented, will not just, sit there and endure everything that we've been going through as people. No more. This has to stop. Everybody can do something, whether that's volunteering in your community, engaging in real conversations, not arguments, conversations. Today, I just spoke with one of my Chinese American friend. Uh, their families have been here for generations, and it's heartbreaking when she told me, I was born here. I don't have anywhere else to call home. I'm an American, but every day we see violence against our people, against Americans, and that's just heartbreaking. I've only been here for more than 2 years. I'm very fortunate that I live in a community that's relatively very safe and very sheltered. So I've not really experienced this type of racism and sexism firsthand, but it is everywhere. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen to you yet, that it will not. I fear for myself, but most especially for my in-laws, for our elders. I have a lot of aunties and uncles who have been here for decades, and they are the perfect target for this type of hate. There's a Filipino old man who has been slashed on the face while waiting for his train. There's this old Thai gentleman who's been, pushed on the ground and died from his injuries. And then now, just senseless killings of women, Asian women. This is deeply rooted. A lot of this has to do with, how we're viewed as people, how we're viewed as women, how media and Hollywood and all these, um, movies and music and songs that sexualize or hypersexualize Asian women. Uh, there's so many stories of Asian women getting harassed every day, verbal abuse, catcalled, getting called lines, and me love you a long time. I mean, and then they say we're sensitive and we don't get the joke or we don't get the compliment. Like, geez, let's stop the bullshit here. It's not compliment. We're not elated. We're not, um, happy about being catcalled or being viewed as very sexual human beings. Um, this has to stop. I'm afraid for my future children, especially if I will have a daughter, if we will have a daughter. And I feel like I just need to voice out and I just need to stand up for my people, for Asians, for Filipinos, and especially for women like me. And I think everybody can do something, that whether that's to advocate. Don't be afraid to have conversations. Don't be afraid to have meaningful, constructive conversations. There are a lot of opportunities to volunteer. There's a volunteer organization in Oakland where you can volunteer your hours to escort older people, to educate people on what's really happening with the Asian communities, with the people of color communities, what's been happening on the ground. Write letters to people in authority. Make them know that we are affected. We are all horrified. We are all standing up against this very, very horrifying time. Um, there's a lot of ways to help. If you can donate, you can do that. Donate to causes that are, speaking to you. And most of all, don't brush it off. Don't stay silent because that's the right thing to do, or that's what's expected of Asian people to do, to stay silent. That's exactly what is wrong, because we are expected to just abide by whatever is happening because we feel like we're very honored to be here, that we're lucky to be here. I mean, not everyone are here to, live the American dream. Some people are here because they don't have a choice. Some people are here because the, situations from their home country is deplorable. They have nowhere else to go. In my case, I'm here because my husband is from here. If I have a choice, would I want to be here at this time? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And so I just feel like this is something that we have to talk about. And this is something that everybody should be speaking up about and not being silent about, because silence just breeds tolerance, and we can't tolerate hate. We can't tolerate murder. We can't tolerate racism. We just can't afford to do that because it will destroy our core as people, our core as human beings, and there will be no stop and no end to this if we don't say anything. So please do your part. Um, if you see violence on the streets, you know, report it, report incidents. I'm not asking you to put your life on the line, but report incidents and don't just stand there and do nothing. Um, if you have time to volunteer, make time to volunteer actually. And if you have, money to donate, that will help us a lot too. But most importantly, speak out, be vocal, and don't just sit there and, you know, think that this too will pass, because it will not. It will not die on its own. Something has to be done. So, with that, I'm just trying to use this platform. I don't have thousands of followers, but I think I have a platform and a little voice, and I want to use it to spread awareness, to spread love and not hate, and to just share real stories and real everyday situations and experiences of immigrant people like me. I started this blog because I wanted to talk about stories of immigrants, our lives, and us as people. So, thank you. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Thank you for listening. And if you have anything that you want to discuss with me, I'm very open to constructive conversations. Please, if you have nothing constructive um, to say, or if you're one of those people who just want to make arguments and, you know, use derogatory language, don't even bother, because you're not getting any response from me. I will not tolerate that on my page or on my platform. But if you want to have a decent conversation, I'm very open to that. Thank you. And I hope that you never get to experience anything like this, because it's not a very good feeling, and it's no one deserves to feel like scared and unsafe. And with that, I just want to say I purposely wore this sweater that I got for the whole family. It says mapangarap, which is the Tagalog word for dreamer, because we are dreamers. And I really believe that Filipinos and Asians are very hardworking people. We are very hardworking people. We contribute to the society so much, to, you know, to the American society in particular. So I hope people see that. And to my friends, Asian American friends, I'm with you. And hang in there. God bless everyone.